Hey guys, welcome back on the channel. My name is Alex, and in today's video we are comparing the Adidas Takumi Sen 8 with the Nike Streakfly. I took the RunScribe pods, those pods that I'm using and that give me plenty of data, so this video will be for you geeks, but also just for anyone wishing to find out which shoe is better for them. Takumi Sen 8 or Streakfly. I'm gonna do some I don't know, 400 meters, 600 meters at 5-10k pace, and we'll see. We'll gather the data, and I'll be back in the pain cave in 1 second to show everything to you. And we're back in the pain cave. I just ran in these two shoes, the Adidas Takumi Sen 8 and the Nike Streakfly. I did some 400 meters at 10k pace, somewhere there. We'll look at the stats. I think I ran 3:25 for those reps, which is slightly slower than my 10k pace. My PR is 34 flat, so it's 3:24 per kilometer. But anyways, this is the ballpark where these shoes are supposed to be at their best, supposed to be shining. So I think it's the right pace. Without no further ado, let's dive into the metrics, the data. Weight 204 grams, 5 grams, and 181 if I remember well. You have the numbers on your screen. The Streakfly is just much lighter than the Takumi Sen 8. Is weight important for 10k? I wouldn't say so. 5k. I mean, 20 grams is 20 grams times 2 for the two shoes. That's a difference, but I think you can save them somewhere else. Width of the platform, the two shoes are almost identical on that perspective. So really, no difference. I think the Streakfly is maybe a touch wider in the midfoot, but again, you have the numbers on your screen. They're almost identical, really. Durometer score, very interesting. So ZoomX is Pebax, the compound family is Pebax, and it ranks at 28 on a geometer scale, whereas Lightstrike Pro is, I used to think it's TPU EVA blend. I'm pretty sure now that it's TPE type of compound, and this is at 31 on the geometer scale. Sorry if I'm not saying the right numbers. You have them on your screen, but I measured the shoes quite a while ago and I don't necessarily remember all the numbers. But I will put them on the screen so you have the accurate numbers when watching this video. Last but not least, drop 33.27, 6 millimeters drop, and 32.26, 6 millimeters drop as well. They feel, both of them feel like they're maybe a bit below that, like 4 millimeters. But it's, 6 millimeters doesn't mean much when you don't take into account the geometry of the shoe. And these two shoes have quite some differences in terms of geometry. And this is also why this video may be relevant for you, because these shoes may not work for the same runners, and that's why I'm trying to tell you here. Let's look at the stats now. So as I told you, I ran these reps at 3:25, 3:26. Takumi Sen 8, let's look at the cadence. 178 steps per minute, 182 for the Streakfly. Contact time, 201 milliseconds for the Takumi Sen 8, and 190 for the Streakfly. So Streakfly slightly more responsive if we take ground contact time as a proxy metric for responsiveness. Quite interesting. Power, this is very interesting. So this basically is a proxy metric for efficiency, how efficient you are, how many energy you're using to move at a certain pace. 302 watts for the Takumi Sen 8, 309 watts for the Streakfly. So Takumi Sen is more efficient. I was pretty sure, but it's always good to to confirm with the metrics. 7 watts isn't a big deal on 5K because it's not a big deal. 10K, 7 watts can make a difference, and it can be above, below your threshold depending on where it is. 7 watts can be a difference. All right, then we're looking at shock metrics. This is a proxy metric for leg pounding, so how much pounding essentially these shoes provoke on your legs when running at a certain pace. And here again, Takumi Sen 8 has a lower shock metric, 12.5 Gs, whereas the Streakfly has a higher shock metric, so more leg pounding with the Streakfly at around 16 Gs, which is the unit for the measurement of shock. Very interesting. Then let's look at foot strike type. So the pods I'm using, the RunScribe pods, are giving you a metric which goes from 0, which corresponds to the heel, to 15, which is the tip of the shoe. And so it says basically where you're landing on each shoe. And so I am landing at 11.2 with the Streakfly, so somewhere, you know, midfoot, forefoot, somewhere there, 2/3 of the shoe, so right here. And quite interesting, I am landing a bit more behind that, 10.8 with the Takumi Sen 8. So, you know, more of a forefoot landing with the Streakfly. Streakfly feels a bit more flat and like it has a lower drop, which makes sense, therefore, that I'm, you know, moving a bit more towards the forefoot when running at higher paces with it. If you're enjoying this video, this is the best moment to hit the like button. I'm gonna give you 1 second. Here you go. You can just like the video. It really helps the channel. Sorry for asking you all the time. I know it's embarrassing and you maybe are liking the videos anyways. Thank you very much for doing that. It really helps the channel. You can also subscribe if you want to see more content like this. We have some very interesting reviews and lots of good stuff coming up very soon. So subscribe, make sure to stay with us here. Pronation and pronation velocity. This is very, very interesting. So which shoe am I pronating the most with? Which shoe is more stable for me? It appears that the Streakfly, surprisingly, is more stable. I have a lower pronation angle with it, 25 degrees of pronation, whereas I'm almost at 30 degrees, 28.5 with the Takumi Sen 8. So a bit more pronation with the Takumi Sen. Keep in mind though that the Takumi Sen here is half a size too big for me and I should have gone half a size down, whereas the Streakfly is half a size down and this is the way to go. So maybe there is some extra pronation in this shoe because I don't have the perfect lockdown. It could be. I would have said that the Takumi Sen is more stable, so you know. And pronation velocity, this is also very interesting. So basically it's the speed at which, the angular speed at which you are pronating. And this is a very good proxy metric for injury risk. The higher your pronation velocity, so the faster you are collapsing, pronating, the more injury risk you may have. And here again, I have a slightly faster pronation velocity with the Takumi Sen 8. Very similar numbers, but a bit higher with the Takumi Sen 8. Last but not least, let's have a look at MPTO, so max pronation to toe off, which is a good proxy metric for bounciness. And the two shoes have very low scores, so very bouncy midsoles. But the bounciest of the two is the Streakfly, which has a lower score, so a bouncier midsole measurement. It makes sense. It makes total sense. Now, let's quickly go through the fit I mentioned. I recommend to go half a size down compared to your true to size in both shoes. So I'm a US 11. I went 10.5 on the Streakfly, perfect. And I should have gone 10.5 on the Takumi Sen 8. Now I'm, playing a bit with it because I am switching insoles. I did the test today with the stock insoles inserts just to make sure that I'm comparing apples to apples. But I am putting some, custom orthotics in the Takumi Sen 8, and it helps to have something more true to size, and that works actually quite well because it's a bit thicker, and so my foot is using more volume in the shoe. Now let's jump to the section of the video which you always appreciate. I'm gonna give one word to describe the two shoes. Here we go. So Takumi Sen 8 is, I will say, dense or very Snappy. Oh yeah, snappy is the word I was looking for. Takumi Sen 8 snappy, whereas Streakfly is, how to say it? It's not mushy, it's not plush. I would almost say Rebel because I'm thinking of the Rebel V2. Takumi Streakfly is, I will say, inefficient. I think this shoe has a ton of potential to be a better shoe, a racing shoe, because for me this is not a 5K, 10K racing shoe, so you know, this video is a bit biased because I know the answer that I'm gonna give you at the end. This is not a 5K, 10K shoe for me. If you watch my first impression review, you know it. But you know, inefficient because it's good, but you're losing so much energy because of that soft foam and very, you know, lots of compression, lots of, yeah, inefficient. So inefficient and snappy. Now let's jump to the points. I'm gonna go through all the sections and give points to each shoe. Let's begin with the upper. No doubts here, Streakfly wins. Hands down, the upper is just top notch. Fit and lockdown, I will go with the Streakfly again. The fit is excellent, very, very comfortable. Laces, I won't give any points here. The two laces are bad. I would suggest you to replace them. I should do that myself and I didn't take the time to do it, but I will definitely do it at some point. Midsole, I will go with the Lightstrike Pro here. It works better for me. It doesn't mean that the Streakfly is bad or that ZoomX on the Streakfly is bad. Some people will love it and I can understand why. I just prefer Lightstrike Pro here and the way it works for me. Right of the shoe, again, it's very similar to midsole, but Takumi Sen 8 works better for me. I'm a mid-foot, forefoot striker and I have something to push on here on the Takumi Sen 8, whereas I'm just sinking in the ZoomX midsole on the Streakfly, and it makes me feel inefficient. I don't have that same energy return. The rods on the Takumi Sen 8 play, I think, a big role as well. So Takumi Sen 8 for me here. Outsole, I will go with the Streakfly. Better grip, better durability, I suppose. We'll find out because I'm gonna use the two shoes, I think. So yeah, Streakfly has a better outsole. Price points goes to the Streakfly as well, $150, 180 euros on the Takumi Sen 8. Quite a significant difference. So you know, this is something you may want to consider as well. Now, you know, again, which one would I race with? And did I go through all the sections? I think I did. Yeah. Yeah. Which one would I race with? None of them is the true answer, and if I had to pick one for 5K, 10K, it would be the Takumi Sen 8. Which one would I train with? I'm gonna use both, but since I got the Streakfly, I used more the Takumi Sen 8 compared to the Streakfly. It reminds me a lot of the Rebel. I wasn't a big fan of the Rebel, so I like the fit a lot. It's a pleasant ride, but not necessarily something that I'm looking for very often. That's the reason why I'm not using it that much. But there you go. That's basically the assessment. Who will this shoe work for? I think both of them can work for a ton of people. Don't expect any stability, so stability runners, you can leave the video right now. No, I'm just kidding. You can stay and you can use the shoes at your risks. They just don't have any specific stability features. As per my metrics, they have a lot of pronation. So I think you need to be conscious of that. Heel strikers, I would tend to recommend the Streakfly. It rolls a bit better towards the forefoot. The transition heel to toe on the Takumi Sen 8 isn't the best of all. Midfoot, forefoot strikers, especially if you have, like me, a lower cadence, higher stride, longer stride, I would go with the Takumi Sen 8. Lighter runners, you can pick any of the two. Heavier runners, I would tend to recommend the Takumi Sen just to avoid having too much collapsing, too much compression going on in the Streakfly. And I think that's pretty much it. Cadence runners, Streakfly, stride runners, Takumi Sen 8. Yeah, I think I covered it. If you have questions, just go in the comments, ask anything you want about the two shoes. If I can help you, I will. Otherwise, maybe some other people who tried the two shoes can help you. enjoy your run today, enjoy your ride, go beyond your limits, and most importantly, take care guys. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.